are so happy to have you with us. Let me introduce you to the cast. Well, Dolly Parton, you met, who did all the songs and the music, and the musical is called 9 to 5. Okay, but we are here now with Allison and Janney, who originally, Lily Tomlin did the movie, right? And Stephanie Block. Originally it was Jane Fonda.
Correct.
Originally you were Dabney Coleman, Marc Kudisch, and the new Dolly, Megan Hilty. So it's really very exciting for us to have you here. You know how much I loved you in West Wing. I never knew you could sing and dance, did you?
I didn't know I'd ever get the chance to do this, frankly. I mean, and neither, my mother is thrilled beyond belief, and I'm just thrilled that I can actually do it. And I'm not embarrassing myself or my family. So.
Not at all. You're very good. Look at how gorgeous you look.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know she dances. People love her.
Dancing. It's better. I mean, I grew up watching the Carol Burnett show and wanting to do something like that, and this is the closest I think that
Megan, you look exactly like her in the show, like Dolly, and you move like her. Is there anything you want to tell us about your body that's different?
Are you saying that I don't naturally look like this? No, I have plenty of my own, but I also have some lady secrets that help me enhance some things and make some other things smaller. So do I.
But, you know, I talked about the other roles and your counterparts in the movie, and that's tough enough, you know, when people remember originally, but you've all made it your own. But you had to rehearse with Dolly watching you.
Yeah, no pressure there, huh?
No. Piece of cake.
Yeah, that's hard. Marc, what do you think of your character? Is he the pig that we know him to be?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's funny. 5 words, sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical, bigot. There you go. Go to town.
Those are one of your exactly.
I'm not acting, I'm just saying words.
People are paying me to be my natural self.
Stephanie, I mentioned that in the movie it was Jane Fonda.
Yes.
Now Jane Fonda is also on Broadway at this point, and you met her?
I did. She came, the original company from the movie came to our opening night in Los Angeles. And so to have their blessing, and she came up and held my hands, it was such an important meeting for me. And she said, you did our role good, and gave us the thumbs up. So we felt like we got a little blessing when all of them were there and gave us...
original cast?
Yes, isn't that something?
And that's really wonderful.
Yes, and they were there last night, too.
Yes, they were. Other than Jane, because she had her performance of her own. Yes.
She was the red carpet, though. She walked the red carpet.
There.
She was
Allison, tell us the story of, in previews, when the scenery started to fall, what would happen?
Oh, well, we were talking about the Los Angeles previews,
in
I guess.
previews.
There would be, it was like you were all of a sudden in a horror film, you know, one of those...
like an earthquake.
And things would just... Everyone looked like a deer in headlights on stage because we weren't sure what was going to hit us that night because it was just such a huge set with lots of moving pieces.
Yes.
And we have all the kinks worked out now, and it's so smooth and seamless and beautiful, but there are a lot of things to run into.
We refer to the set as a she, and she is a whole nother character in the play. And I think most musicals have about 17, 18 scene transitions. We've been told we have 47, so that in and of itself is really a feat.
But didn't Dolly get on stage when that would happen?
Yes, well, they're opening night.
I was waiting in the wings in L.A. when we were having problems. So, yeah, they'd say, come on, talk to the people. So we'd get out and sing 9 to 5.
So you would get out and talk to the audience? She'd sing.
So they did 2 shows for the price of 1. So people would hear about it, and then they'd come hoping that the set would break down so that they get to see Dolly.
That's funny.
The truth is, the crew would be back there working on the set, but then they'd be listening to Dolly sing. And it'd sort of be like...
Speaking of Dolly singing, you have a glorious voice, and you recorded I Will Always Love You.
I am the luckiest.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm putting out a solo album, my first, and I approached different composers who have touched my life, and I wanted them to not only lend me their songs, but to perform with me. So, Dolly, I spent hours trying to write...
Together?
Yes! I wrote what I thought was the perfect email. It took hours.
We forget Whitney Houston. We just hear your version.
It's a new arrangement, and we made it so sweet and like a lullaby. And Dolly gave up her time and her talents and showed up to sing with me on this track. I couldn't be more grateful.
You did a great job, and she made it her own. She didn't try to do it like somebody else, and I just did some harmony. She's hard to keep up with. She's a fabulous singer. No, it's true.
She's got a voice.
She's got a great voice. I couldn't hold my notes that long. I know it looks like I can hold a lot of air. Don't work that way. I had to work for it.
When she said in the studio, she said, your lungs are on the inside, mine are on the outside.
But what's the line that it's in the, that you've said and it's in the song? There's a heart beneath the boobs. I'm doing it wrong. What's the word?
There's we weren't supposed to say that.
We
didn't take it out of it. Well, anyway, it's about the boobs and under the heart. We just said
has something to do with something. Right.
Good. It's a reason to come and see the show.
This is what it said.
Marc, you are suspended, as we saw you here, and handcuffed, and shackled.
Yes, I am.
You like it? What's wrong with you? You love them? Masochist.
No.
Chauvinist.
To be honest with you, being in all of that accoutrement is actually very liberating in some ways, because especially in the second act, when these women, you know, hook him up like that in the bedroom, it just sort of gives me a freedom of expression. I don't have to, you know, work at acting at it. I am.
Yeah.
And I really cannot get out. I truly am at the mercy of the technical aspects of the show. So it is. So I can just go to town.
Before we go, I have to ask you about the View mention. You mentioned the View in the show.
Yes.
We're like part of the show. Who came up with that? You did, Dolly?
Oh, I don't know if I did or not. I doubt it. So I think, Steffi's always coming up with great ideas.
When I was watching it in preview and they did it, I thought, woo, but it looked a little fun. We want to thank Dolly Parton. We want to thank the cast of 9 to 5 as musical, which is playing now at the Marquis Theater, and every one of you in the audience. You're so lucky you're going home with a pair of tickets.
Would never have been able to survive during that time with the chauvinistic boss and the pushing on the women.
No,
I would have been in jail.
I went through it at that time when I was working.
Barbara.
Did you really? Yeah, I did.
You
well,
did.
Another story. By the way, there's a DVD of the original 9 to 5, and you can get it. It's such a fun movie still.
It is.
Take a little time to enjoy the view of a wonderful weekend.
Would never have been able to survive during that time with the chauvinistic boss and the pushing on the women.
No,
I would have been in jail.
I went through it at that time when I was working.
Barbara.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
You
well,
did.
Another story. By the way, there's a DVD of the original 9 to 5, and you can get it. It's such a fun movie still.
It is.
Take a little time to enjoy the view of a wonderful weekend.